Yes, you can actually sell your Amazon business and brand, and you can sell it for a huge amount of money, even though you probably started it on the side while you're doing your full-time job or even just from your bedroom. That's the beauty of e-commerce, and that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. However, it's not always very easy to figure out how to sell your business, what you need to do in order to get it to a level where it can be sold, and how to get a fair deal. That's why in this episode of Power Your E-commerce Business, I'm interviewing Klaus from Aepic. Klaus is one of my favorite humans. He is a serial entrepreneur through and through. He is the co-founder and CEO of Aepic, who are there to facilitate selling your Amazon business to aggregators, VCs, or investors. We're not going to only talk about that, but in this interview, we're also going to be talking about entrepreneurship and what it takes to become an entrepreneur, what things you need to focus on while being an entrepreneur, and how to get through the hurdles of entrepreneurships. Let's get going. Welcome to Power Your E-commerce Business, the go-to series for busy entrepreneurs like you. Product research, sales, marketing, branding, shipping and logistics. We share knowledge and information every week from top experts serving the MENA region to help you power your e-commerce business. Klaus, I'm so excited to be having this conversation with you on camera, because we've had these conversations a lot, and you are what I call a natural, maybe not natural, maybe trained, but you are a serial entrepreneur, and you help so many founders and entrepreneurs, and you also are part of Aepic, which we're going to be talking about. But let's dive in. And for anybody that doesn't know you, can you just introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure, Krystel, and thank you for having me. I have also looked forward to this.
Yeah.
We have tried many times in
True.
Dubai and other
True.
places to meet up, but it never worked. I'm Danish born, and as Krystel said, serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I have been building ventures for well over 30 years, experienced spectacular failures, award-winning businesses, and I've also exited 3 of my own companies. Mm-hmm. So I have lived the entire emotional roller coaster that it is to be an entrepreneur. Started very early with trading companies, then moved into engineering companies, very maybe old school. I had a cleaning company with almost 1,000 employees. So both small and large businesses. And entrepreneurship is what I do. Support founders and entrepreneurs is something that I have a passion for. Love being part of the community, and support them with my knowledge and my experience.
Perfectly put. I feel that because e-commerce and Amazon is an online business, it's not, you can run it through your computer technically. Of course, you need to have a team, but still, it sometimes feels from the outside as if it's a very simple business, as if it doesn't require the same hard work, it doesn't require the same sacrifice as, and it's so much easier to succeed as a traditional business. But we both know that that's not true. And I just want to talk a little bit regarding what you find before we talk about Amazon and how you can sell your business and how to establish that type of success. For somebody that's looking, or currently actually in this business, is it normal for you to feel like you are overworked? Are these things normal as an entrepreneur?
Absolutely, Krystel, and I want to say, entrepreneurship is an extreme sport, and I don't say this lightly. It is an extreme sport, and you would not sort of throw yourself into climbing the north face or the north wall or the half dome or something without any practice, without speaking to people who have done it, without training.
Yes.
So yet every day we see people throwing themselves into entrepreneurship. 100%. And that's great. It's wonderful. We need those driven people, but it's very important to understand it comes with a lot of risks. It comes with a lot of, and it's an emotional roller coaster. You have to be prepared for that, and not only yourself, also your spouses, your family, your surroundings, your friends, because it takes a lot of your time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's an e-commerce business or a software startup or hardware or any business that you want to take off the ground requires focus, dedication, and a lot of hours. And all those hours are not always positive and happy and always going the way you want things to do. Entrepreneurship is very much about having that drive. You found either a product or a solution to a problem, but having that drive saying, I'm going to fix this, or I'm going to take this to the market, I'm going to let other people enjoy this. Having the drive to say, I have a solution. And then it's the zest of overcoming the downfalls, the difficult times, because I think it's a Chinese saying, you fall 7, but you rise 8.
Yeah.
Because you will always fall. There's always problems. Goods gets lost, your software, your competitor comes before you or something. So having that ability to take a hit, take a hit, spend 2 hours getting upset or something, but that's it, and then you regroup, and then you get back up on the horse and you continue. So to your question about is it easier to do? Absolutely not. There is no easy way, and there is no easy businesses. In fact, on e-commerce, very often there is a very, very large competitive landscape. Yes. So there's a lot of people doing the same thing as you, trying to do the same thing as you. So if you are not, the early riser and getting everything done correctly and trying to do things correctly, you are not going to succeed most probably. And that is difficult. So, and then comes, should I quit my job because now I have this great idea?
Yes.
And I can see there's a future here. Please don't do that until your new business takes at least 8-10 hours of your day.
Yeah.
And you can see that it can pay a salary, because this other job that you have, it pays for the security, and there's nothing worth of have uncertainty in your new business you are starting, have uncertainty at home because you don't know how you're going to pay your bills. So keep some parts of certainty, and that is a stable job, stable income, but work your butt off in your own gig and your own startup as long as you can. Some people actually never quit their main job. Yeah. They have these things on the side. Yeah. And it's totally doable.
100%.
You have great assistants, you have great VAs that you can work with, and people that are driven by the same success, and you pay them by the hour basically. Yeah. Yeah. So absolutely possible.
One thing that you're saying, which makes a lot of sense, I think you eventually want to create a business. Like a lot of people I see want to get into e-commerce and Amazon because they think they will work less and it will take less time and they will have more freedom. It's true, you will get there, but you will get there eventually. So in the beginning, it does require, if not more than your stable, regular job, it requires at least the same amount of dedication.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is something that, as I said, with this extreme sport, you almost need to train for this. Yeah. So it's about getting enough sleep. It's about eating healthy. It's about exercising. It's about drinking water. I mean, basic things. But if you don't have the energy to put in the effort, you're not going to succeed either. You have to arrange with your spouse, with your family, that, hey, after dinner, I'm going to spend 4 hours in my room on my laptop doing my new work.
Yes.
Communicate it, talk about it, have it open up there, because there are so many ways that this can fall apart, you know. And if you don't get your sleep, and if you don't get a good, environment at home, you are not going to make it.
I love your everything that you're saying, because it's so simple, but it's also often not talked about and overlooked. But because you've been through this and you've done this multiple times, And entrepreneurship is the same whether you have a cleaning company with 1,000 employees or you're selling 100 products on Amazon. It's basically the same. Let's get a little bit into Aepic and how you started on this journey.
And that's a great question, and I'm proud to say that I'm staying true to my love for entrepreneurships and founders, because a couple of years ago, some of my partners saw this development of the aggregator space coming up, lots of capital going into the space. They went ahead and did an aggregator themselves. But I came to them and said, listen, if there's going to be in hundreds and if not in thousands of sort of small business owners starting to sell their business, there is going to be a disproportionate of the experience of knowledge of what it means to sell a business. So these people have done a great job building their pet brand or whatever in the last 3, 4, 5 years. And suddenly they do a couple of million in revenues and they would like to take the chips off the table, fair enough, and sell their business. It's not the same thing as selling your products to sell your business. So these people have a knowledge level, let's say here, and the buyers are extremely experienced. These are financial wizards out of Stanford and other places, and they know exactly how to buy businesses. It's their job to deploy capital as effective as possible. So here you are with this level of knowledge, and here they are with this level of knowledge. It's never gonna turn out in the best possible way for the founder. And this is where I sort of tied in with my love for founders. They need a fair deal. They need to be treated the best possible way and get the best possible amount of money out of their hard work. Okay, this is their biggest payday of their life.
It is.
Very often it's bigger than buying a house or selling a house. This is life-changing events that can happen here. So if you come into this and say, I'm gonna wing it, and I'm gonna maybe read a book or a blog, and I can do this myself, you are 100% not gonna get the best outcome. Simply because the people opposite you knows much better how to do this. So we are here to support those founders, to give a white glove service, I like to call it, where we first work with the seller, look at their books, maybe optimize their earnings a little bit better, precision their earnings better. Maybe they need to do a few adjustments to their listings or to their their product range or something, because we know what the buyers are looking for. So if we see a company with scattered of hundreds of SKUs or thousands, we could say, listen, let's try over the next 6 months to bring it to 80 top sellers, because we know people will not like to buy 1,000 SKUs, but they don't mind, in that number range. Or, your net margin is 15, 16%, and you are happy with that. But we know that buyers, especially nowadays, they want to see more, like more in the 20%. So what can we do to increase the margin? Just a few percent, So we work with people before we go take to the market. Then we make a proper teaser presentation of the brand, not an investment memorandum like Morgan Stanley, but we would do a lighter version of it.
Klaus, this is a common question that comes up, especially in the Middle East, because I know selling and exiting your Amazon brand is fairly a new thing for a lot of all of the Amazon community worldwide, but especially in the Middle East because it's such an emerging market. So it's very odd for people once they realize that this is an option. And the main question is always, why would an aggregator or a company or another entrepreneur or anything, why would they buy my brand rather than create their own?
Simply because the heavy lifting you have done as the founder, you have found a product. First, maybe you found a niche, you find a need, you went out and you found the product, you established the brand, and you have now revenues and earnings. The buyer could do the same thing also over a 6 or 9 month period. And of course, investing substantially less than what they're going to buy you for. Nevertheless, they come in also with access to capital to expand the brand, take it to new markets, take it to new channels, increase the PPC spendings. Maybe they have affiliate marketing, where they can just plug this in and sales will start to generate themselves. So they are very well aware that they're going to pay, 3, 4, 5 times what you earned last year, and they are okay with that because they can accelerate this business. And I have seen brands being doubled in revenue in 6 months.
Yes.
So if this owner comes in, the right people on board, access to capital, opening a new market, and they double your business in 6 or 9 months, they didn't pay more than they're going to earn this in 2 years. And then comes the doubling again in 6 or 12 months when they take you to a new market. So the business model is good for both parties. It just has to be a fair deal, because they can grow it very fast, but you need to get paid for your hard work.
Yeah. So essentially, you're buying time. You're buying time.
Time to market. Time is essential 100%. Here, and they will, of course, the buyer will calculate, how quickly are we going to get our money back, and reduce that from 4 years to 18 months, by opening new markets, increasing sales spend, advertising spending, or other things, So, and if they do a good job, they will make their money. They will bring the investment back in 2 years' time.
What are the common pitfalls and mistakes you find sellers make when they start, or when they do sell their business or brand? I know there's a lot.
Yeah. First, I would go back to this, and this is not just flowering my own cake. I'm just really saying that the first mistake is really to think that, I can download an email list and I have, 20 aggregators on that email list, or 50 or something, and I can contact them myself. And when you do so, yes, you are easily going to get 10 or 15 LOIs, that you have a great brand, we want to look at it and we could be interested. But the buyer's universe is just so much wider than those 10, 15, 20, because you have to remember, you also have a business to run. So you cannot suddenly spend all your time on trying to sell your business. So the buyer universe is much, much broader. In our database, we are working with 110 aggregators, plus strategic buyers, plus private equity houses, plus. So when we see a brand, we very often go much, much wider. And there is always going to be someone who, for them, it's going to be their first acquisition into that category, or into the online space, or into that market. So they are willing to pay more. But if you just take the top 10, 15, you're not going to find that buyer, because all these top 10, 15 has already something in that category. They are already in that market. So it's going to be an add-on, and you don't get top dollar for add-ons. Okay?
Got it.
So that's one thing. Just saying it again, do yourself the favor of working with a third-party professional company that will help you exit to the best value. Now, what we also see is, and this is common, every single entrepreneur and founder does the same thing. You have stuffed your books with expenses to lower your corporate income tax. And that's everybody is doing that. Your salary, your car, your wife's salary maybe, and stuff like that.
Your holidays, conference.
Exactly.
But it's a holiday.
So suddenly, all of that is now taken out on your earnings are now is costing you 4 or 5 times what you took out. So before you go to this market, make sure that you have organized your books, cleaned them up, so that you are showing the real potential of earnings. Okay, so that's another thing that we are seeing.
Is there a problem with once someone sells their Amazon brand, can they just turn around, or can they be prevented to turn around and just go and create another brand in a different category?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was buying your brand, that you have spent years developing and you have all the knowledge and ins and outs and supply chain and everything on and running. I buy it and you go and start the same brand. I would not like it.
Yes, of course.
So there is very often a period of non-compete.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you cannot start another brand, because you cannot prevent you from working in the online space, because that's your job.
Yes.
But there will certainly be clauses in the contract saying you cannot work in this space, in this market, doing these kind of products.
Got it.
And with that, you will just have to accept that, well, that's also what I'm getting paid for.
Of course.
And then you will find other things to do and go ahead with that.
Does it matter for the founders that are selling their business, or is it expected for them to take equity, or do people, meaning, for example, because we see a lot of aggregators, flaunting their teams and the fact that they have huge teams and operations, and we focus a lot on operations, and if I was to sell my Amazon brand, I don't really care. I don't care who you are. I simply care who's going to pay me the most money. Why do we see aggregators flaunting, what they have done? Is it just a marketing thing, or is it because they want to keep on the founder and give them a part of the equity, so they're trying to, show them that they'll be able to grow their business?
Most buyers would love to have the founder on board for a long period of time, as long as possible, because he knows or she knows the ins and outs and the pitfalls. And on the opposite side, you have the founder who decided now enough is enough. And
I want to go live on the beach.
I never took a salary, and now I want to get paid. So you have these.
I want to just be there and just get paid.
Exactly.
Get it.
So there's somebody who likes to have your knowledge and experience, and you yourself, you have done enough. So there will very often be a requirement of you staying in 6 months or 3 to 6 months or something like that, and train the internal operating team. And I think a lot of aggregators also has realized that it is necessary to have a strong operational team. I think maybe some of them in the beginning went out and were just not so focused on the operational part, and thought that, well, if the brand has been able to get this far, but the people are leaving, so someone else needs to take over and do all this stuff. So I think these are different poles of where you want to be, but if you love your business and love your brand and love what you're doing, but just want to have a little bit of financial security, why not continue?
Yes, exactly.
Why not stay in with this brand, with this new owner,
and
help them
can inject cash,
inject your team and everything, and then you say, okay, I will not sell 100%, but I will sell 80%, and then in 5 years' time, you can buy the remaining 20% at an agreed formula. Okay, that's a great way. That's a beautiful deal. Beautiful way as well. Unfortunately, we see quite a lot of people even coming into this with the purpose of going out.
Okay.
So they will sort of flip it in 36 months, or less time.
Yes. They just want to.
Yeah. So it's a business model of finding a product, using great tools. Finding the supply chain, launching it with experience, and getting it to a certain number of revenues, and then flipping the brand.
Thank you so much to Klaus for all of that incredible knowledge and information. I will leave all of the information of Aepic as well as Klaus's details in the description box of this video. I highly recommend that you reach out to him if you are an entrepreneur looking for guidance, or if you are an Amazon seller looking to figure out how to sell your business potentially. I'll see you in another video with more information. Bye.